What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Robert Fitzpatrick. I am a real estate agent in the DFW area, and today I'm going to be talking to you about home inspections, okay? What are home inspections? So, before I get into it, make sure you hit that like button, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. If you get any value out of this, I think you're going to really enjoy this video. So, as a real estate agent, what I always recommend is that you get a home inspection, okay? I cannot tell you how many times I've been working with a client who thought, I just don't want to get a home inspection because if I get a home inspection, that may deter the seller from wanting to move forward with the deal. Okay? And the reason many buyers think this is because typically within the contract, at least here in Texas, in my contracts, all right, there's something called an option period. And the option period is typically when buyers get the home inspection. Now, what is an option period? Okay? An option period is simply a period of time where you can back out of the contract as the buyer without losing your earnest money, okay? And for those of you who do not know what earnest money is simply the money that you put down on the contract to show you are serious about moving forward. Typically, it's about 1% of the purchase price. So if it's a $300,000 property, that's $3,000 that goes towards the earnest money. Now, the earnest money gets credited at the end towards your down payment, closing costs, all those things. However, if you breach the contract as a buyer, you are likely going to lose your earnest money, okay? So, typically, some buyers are hesitant to ask for an option period because they feel like without the option period, they look like they're more serious in terms of buying. Why? Because they think that they look like they're not wasting the seller's time. They think that they look like they're doing themselves a service, but you are not. If you are trying to buy a home, one of the best things you can do is get an inspection. I don't care if you're going to lose this property. I don't care if the seller comes out and says, if you want to get an inspection on this property, do not put the option period in. Do not get an inspection. You will lose this property if you get an inspection. Walk away from the property. Walk away. Walk away right now. In your mind, physically, walk away from the property. If there is ever a seller that you are dealing with who does not want you to get an inspection on the property, walk away. Now I know some people are gonna, well, Fitz, what about if it's a foreclosure and you can't get in? What if it's an auction? Those are different stories, okay? I'm talking about you've seen this property, right? And there's no reason why you shouldn't get an inspection other than the seller doesn't want you to get one. And you think it's going to make your offer more appealing. Do not do this, guys. Look, I don't even care if it's a new property. If it was just built, those may have something wrong with them. I can't tell you how many times I've watched an inspection go down, something comes back that was major, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that would not have came out of the pocket of the seller, but the buyer, that was saved and caught, and now it's on everyone's radar because of the inspection. Listen, guys, if you are thinking about buying a home, please do yourself a favor and get an inspection. Do not skip an inspection. Okay, an inspection will save you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and it ultimately puts you in the position to make the best decision on whether this property is for you. Okay, now, there's also questions about, well, what happens if I do the inspection and there's repairs that need to be made? How much money should I ask for repairs? Should I ask the seller to do the repairs? How do I deal with this situation? So, of course, everyone's situation is different, but as a real estate agent, here's a few things that I look at, okay? One, I look at, is the seller stuck on this price? Okay, is the seller stuck on this price? Because sometimes if the seller is so stuck on this price, they may not be willing to offer concessions, but they may be willing to get the repairs done because maybe they know somebody who they can get a cheaper price for, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, it depends on the situation. Typically, I ask for the property to be serviced before closing. Meaning, if there are major things like the AC unit, the water heater, the plumbing, if there's a plumbing issue, if there's a foundation issue, right? If there's a foundation issue, typically that's a no-go. It depends on what the foundation issue is, of course, but if it's bad, it's typically a no-go. I advise my clients of that. Now, of course, I'm not advising you of that. It depends on your situation, but those are some of the major things right there. Foundation, that it's kind of like, you really want to be careful. But the other things, right? I tell my clients, hey, look, have the sellers service them. Have the sellers make those repairs. And if they don't make the repairs, you have a pretty good case for walking away from this property and getting your earnest money back. Of course, every situation is different. However, they would technically be in breach of contract if they did not service those items, right? And they said that they would. Now, the other option is for you to ask for seller concessions, which are the seller, for instance, let's say you say, okay, the repairs, I know a good general contractor, I know somebody, handyman that can come and fix these things, blah, blah, blah. I want to ask for $3,000 in concessions. What that means is that $3,000 comes off your closing costs and down payment. And if you don't have those things for whatever reason, then you would get credited that $3,000. And you would then use that $3,000, assumingly you would use that $3,000 to cover whatever you needed. But the concessions is pretty much like, instead of you coming out of pocket $3,000 in terms of your closing costs and your down payment, they would take $3,000 off. It's like a credit. So if your closing costs and down payment, for example, came to $20,000 and you had a $3,000 concession, it would now be $17,000. You would keep the $3,000 in your pocket and then use that $3,000, if you wanted to, on the back end to make the repairs. Those are pretty much the options. So, to recap, if you're thinking about buying a home, you have a property under contract, make sure that you get an inspection. Okay, super important. As a real estate agent, you want to make sure that you have a good team of inspectors, and that's what I do. I work with the same inspectors every single time. We've built a great relationship. If you are in the DFW area and you're thinking about purchasing a home, make sure you get all my information in the bio, and we can get you into a property and we can make sure that it's properly inspected. All of that information is in the description. I said bio earlier. I'm thinking of Instagram, but all that information will be in the description, so make sure you check that out. Also, make sure you comment, like, subscribe, all that great stuff. Follow me on social media at Fitz_Realtor. And if you need help buying or selling property in the DFW area, you can contact me. You can email me, robert.a.fitzpatrick@exprealty.com. That's robert.a.fitzpatrick@exprealty.com. That information will be in the description. And I will see you in the next video.